I'm very honored to be part of this group. And I'm going to read excerpts from a longer essay that called Late Afternoon Thoughts While Viewing Magritte. On final approach to Zaventem Airport, I close my eyes to the bucolic farmland below and hang tight to the arms of my seat. A normally relaxed traveler, I'm slow on landing to release my vice grip and head for the exit. As I bump my suitcase down the air stairs in the blinding noon light, a group photo in front of similar steps flashes before me, disappearing as I stumble into the wing's shadow. Ahead, a bank of planes mercifully blocks the view of the runway and the adjacent field. Exhausted from the San Francisco-Brussels flight, I fall asleep at the hotel, hustling on a waking late afternoon to make it to my conference opening, a Magritte exhibit. Today, I have only vague memory of the granite building that housed the collection. What comes back to me is the austereness of the exhibit hall, its stark walls, bare oak floors, ice rink chilliness. I pass from one canvas to the next before Le Jockey Perdu catches my eye. I'm not sure of why I'm drawn to him, as jockeys have played no part in my life. They were usually in for the night by the time Laurence, Greg, and I found our way down Storrow Drive to the racetrack that served as our playground between the Skating Club of Boston's Friday afternoon and evening sessions. I was 9, Laurence and Greg 11, and after hours of practice, we were ready for some serious horsing around. No longer under parental eye, we transformed into tightrope walkers, negotiating the track's inch-wide mile perimeter fence, nervously anticipating the wiggly section. I rarely fell, carefully heel-toeing it across the loose board behind Greg, who was chanting, "It's a bird, it's a plane," to Lorraine, and Laurence, who was airplaning her arms as strands of her bowl cut that mother sometimes coaxed into French braids, blew like a horse's mane in the wind. Occasionally, she'd look back to see if I was gaining on her and topple off, getting right back up again. It's been some time since I thought of those afternoons, but being here in this city has stirred something up. From the Lost Jockey, I take in the trompe-l'oeil frames before stopping by Le Modèle Rouge. Deposited among cigarette butts and spent matches, alongside the words "mutilated" and "smoked," are half boots, half feet. The boots transitioning to feet where the metatarsals begin, leather morphing to skin, a monstrous custom, Magritte had said, the act of putting feet into shoes. I feel almost viscerally how my feet once merged with my skating boots, callous skin morphing into leather. Simultaneously, the empty shoes are a trigger that send me back to the shoes Laurence left at the Nahat Beach the first time we lost her. It was another 5 years, 3 months shy of her 17th birthday, before we lost Laurence again. During that time, we trained together, tending our calloused feet, lacing our boots side by side as we raced up the skating ladder. Almost 2 years older, Laurence was more advanced. I beat her only twice when neither of us had a notable performance. But then I got sick, out of competition for a year, and when I returned, Laurence had pulled forward by a length. Our Friday racetrack visits and outings were now replaced with homework and more practice. Our work paid off, or so we thought. At the 1961 Nationals, Laurence won the seniors and I the juniors. We should have all been together 2 weeks after our triumph. Mother, Big Maribel, Laurence, and I, a team alternate, flying overnight with the other US team members to Brussels en route to the World Championships in Prague. Instead, Mother and I were in our own beds. Still paused by the Modèle Rouge canvas, I try to figure out how Mother heard the news, as there was no phone in my parents' bedroom. So when it rang just before 5 a.m., my father must have walked down the hall to answer it. Had she followed him, or had Dad taken the call alone, relating on coming back to the bedroom the Globe reporter's unfathomable story? What had come to her mind first? My school's last-minute ultimatum to me, go with the world team and don't come back here? Or my reluctant decision hours before departure to stay behind? Had she fingered the unused airline tickets on her night table before running upstairs to my room? That post-Valentine's morning, still vivid as I pass Ce n'est pas un pipe, treachery of images, not so unlike the treachery of memory. Misremembered conversation fragments, maybe, but not the photos that flashed this morning on the tarmac, the team before the steps of the Boeing 707 at the start of the 8-hour countdown. Firemen pointing hoses at the smoldering fuselage, the cover of Sports Illustrated with Laurence's picture flapping in the breeze under a sheared-off wing. But the melting blades dangling from the wingtip that I recalled but never found, had I made them up? How would Magritte have rendered such an image? Added the missing boots and the word smoked, or drawn the blades and then told you they weren't blades? How much had memory distorted what really transpired that day some 40 years ago, when a few kilometers from where I was now standing, Sabina Flight 548 with the entire US figure skating team had, on approach to Zaventem Airport, crashed into a chicory field, leaving no survivors.